Robbers pull a 74-year-old woman down a flight of stairs, and now she is telling us her story and why she's not letting this experience hold her back.
Plus, the cost of diabetes medication is on the rise. We take a look at how this affects businesses and the patients who need it.
And the landscape in Fondren is changing. Some people say it's too much. Hear why one organization is even calling it endangered.
And another cold front will be moving through Mississippi by tomorrow morning. This front, though, is a dry front. No clouds, no rain, but it will be breezy and cooler tomorrow behind the front. We have another system coming through this weekend. It's going to make it even colder. You'll see the 8-day forecast coming up in 12 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. After being pistol whipped and robbed on her own front porch, a 74-year-old Jackson woman is speaking out.
She tells WJTV's Candace Coleman why she thinks it happened. Candace, what'd you find out?
Yes, this happened Saturday over on Cedarhurst Drive. Miss Christine Wilson says she had just won $4,000 at bingo that night, and the robbers may have followed her home.
Whatever they spend it on, I hope they enjoy.
Now it's well wishes to the pair of robbers who left gashes in her head. On Saturday, 74-year-old Christine Wilson pulled into her driveway and routinely stopped at the mailbox on the porch.
My porch light wasn't on because I left home around about 4 o'clock.
That's when she heard someone tell her to give up her purse.
And I told him, I said, I'm not giving you my purse. So he grabbed hold to part of my purse, and I had, it in my hand.
When she didn't let go, the man pulled her down the steps
and pulled me in the driveway. And then he just started, him and another guy, they just started beating me in the head with the gun.
Wilson's son was asleep and didn't hear the commotion, but some guys walking in the neighborhood heard her screams for help, and the robbers ran. Police are still searching for them.
I've been in this house for 20 years, and I have never felt unsafe in my house of coming home.
She says it's been times where she's come home at 3 o'clock in the morning and never felt threatened, but this time she got taken for over $2,000.
I work for what I want, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Now, Wilson says she will be more vigilant, but this is not going to stop her from doing what she loves. Byron.
Thank you, Candace. Well, a Canton man who watched his friend get shot while they were both robbed is now afraid for his family. We spoke to him about that day, which started out just like any other. He tells us that his friend came over to work on his car, and they were outside of the house on Otto Street when police say that 2 men came from his backyard demanding money and pointing the gun. Some people familiar with the community believe this man was targeted. With an interpreter by his side, he relived those scary moments.
Both they lay down together in there, and the other one turned around. They shoot him.
People work. They get paid, they take their checks, they cash them, and then they have cash. And oftentimes predators know the paydays, and they're waiting for people, or they know where they go after they cash their checks, and they go after them.
Police say the suspects got away with more than $2,000 in cash, and investigators are still working to find them. Diabetics in Mississippi, and there are thousands of them, need insulin every day to stay alive. Over the last several years, the cost of a vial of insulin has skyrocketed, putting a strain on people's pocketbooks.
WJTV's Andrew Nomura talked to one mom who is paying for her child's medicine out of pocket.
Pump, which we're here today training on, is $300 cash price for a month. So every month it's $300. Plus we have test strips. You have to have your backup insulin. You have to have backup syringes.
It's safe to say Christy Simmons will love the price of her son's diabetic supplies to come down.
Well, if it just didn't cost so much.
According to the State Department of Health, in 2015, 14% of folks in Mississippi have diabetes.
People are scurrying around trying to figure out how are they going to take care of themselves.
Reasons why Irina McLean with the Diabetes Foundation of Mississippi says prices on diabetic supplies are too high.
You look at the insulin that you used to get for very discounted price, now running $300, $350, $400 a vial.
It's not only patients that are struggling. We spoke to John Oliver with Oliver Diabetic Supplies on Lakeland. He told me since Medicaid made changes on supply prices this July, they are not getting enough money on reimbursements to stay afloat. Some companies are using alternative supply brands to be cost effective, which is not always a good thing.
And now they're switching to one where we don't know how accurate it is. And that's important. You have to have accuracy. The technology's out there to take good care of yourself, but if you can't afford it, what are you going to do?
Well, experts hope that lawmakers in Washington can get this Medicaid problem resolved.
A Clinton elementary school teaching assistant is now behind bars accused of inappropriately touching a young girl. Police tell us Thomas Cleveland came up to the girl at a Flowwood restaurant and threatened her while he was touching her. The 47-year-old is now facing a charge of gratification of lust. Cleveland was working at Clinton Park Elementary at the time, but district officials tell us they have now fired him. A preservation organization declares the Fondren neighborhood in Jackson endangered despite many thriving businesses.
Well, that's right. Fondren is one of 10 historic places added to the endangered list by the Mississippi Heritage Trust. The organization made the announcement late last week saying that while Fondren is full of local stores and restaurants, there are concerns that Fondren will, quote, fall victim to its own success as historic buildings are demolished to make way for large-scale developments, end quote. Well, one such example includes the 100-year-old Fondren house that was demolished on State Street to make way for a hotel.
That's how we progress and how we have good discussions. So the public is concerned about things like that, and we want Fondren to have the best and brightest future that it possibly can. So we look at this as a positive thing.
Some neighbors want Fondren designated a local historic district, which would allow for community input on future projects.
Tomorrow morning, there will be a groundbreaking at one of the new hotels going up in Fondren. Homewood Suites is putting up a 125-room hotel on State Street where Que Sera Sera used to be. Mayor Chokwe Lumumba and the developers will speak at the event, which starts at 9 a.m.
Officials are asking for help to find a 41-year-old man who has been missing since Wednesday. The last time that someone saw Timothy Lewis was right around 6 o'clock that evening on Lakeland Drive. Family members say that he has a medical condition that may impair his judgment.
We now know more details about the moments during the Tennessee church shooting. Today, that case was bound over to a grand jury.
At one point during the interview, he did become slightly emotional. He cried a little bit, but other than that, he was just kind of stoic.
Metro Police Detective Steve Jolly testified that he interviewed suspect Emmanuel Sampson for nearly 2 hours after the mass shooting at Burnett Chapel Church of Christ. Police say Sampson shot Melanie Crow to death and hurt 7 others when he opened fire at the Antioch Church. The churchgoer credited with helping to stop Sampson also testified.
His back was towards me. I walked up to him and grabbed his arm, trying to turn him around towards me, and that was whenever he had hit me in the head with the butt of his weapon. He
indicated, and it was really hard to understand everything that he was saying, but he was kind of indicating that he heard voices and he had seen an image about that particular church.
Detective Jolly also testified that investigators found a note in Sampson's car. He said it mentioned the 2015 shooting at a black church in Charleston, South Carolina, but investigators did not say that they have reached the conclusion that that was the motive.
A new refinery is set to come to Natchez, but it won't be processing oil. This is a look at the approved site. Velocities is a British company. And the Natchez site will turn wood into the equivalent of diesel or jet fuel. The refinery will bring 40 jobs with an average yearly salary of $100,000. The company says Adams County offered tax incentives worth $42 million and says it could get $15 million in state tax breaks.
The Hattiesburg Police Department is now taking applications for its 2018 Academy. In a news conference this morning, the Hattiesburg Police Department and Mayor Toby Barker encouraged people to apply for the 17-week-long class. Despite the intensity of the class, officials say they're looking to welcome at least 30 new police officers.
We're looking for men and women of character and men and women of integrity to help build our foundation at the Hattiesburg Police Department and continue our success in the city.
Academy recruits will receive a starting salary of $25,000. The salary will be adjusted upon graduation.
About 4,200 Mississippi National Guard soldiers will deploy to Kuwait for 9 months. The soldiers will head to Fort Bliss in Texas starting in 2018. They are joining in Operations Spartan Shield with the purpose to deter and react to possible threats within the Middle East. The group is part of the 155th Armored Brigade Combat Team based in Tupelo.
Local veterans had the opportunity for free dental care today in the capital city. Aspen Dental is based in New York, but they travel with their Mouthmobile to help veterans. Jackson is one of 30 cities Aspen serves as part of their Healthy Mouth movement. They service any immediate needs for the patients to keep their teeth and gums healthy.
Veterans are not really covered 100% for their dental coverage, and there was a dire need for that. We're in the dental business, but we're also here to help out. We care for our patients, and what better way to show it than to go around and make sure that our veterans are taken care of.
More than $10 million in free dental care has gone to thousands of veterans so far. 132 top golfers from across the nation are right here in the capital city for the Sanderson Farms Championship.
That's right. Today kicked off the 50th anniversary for the tournament. 132 players are participating at the Country Club of Jackson. The Sanderson Farms Championship has been a part of the PGA Tour since 1968, and Friends of Children's Hospital will benefit the most. The executive director says that they raised over $1.1 million for the organization last year, and they're on track to top it.
The autographed T marker that we've got for spectators to sign a note to the Bassett patients, that's brand new. Drago's is a partner from a food standpoint in the tailgate on the 18th green. And we've tweaked a little bit here and there with some spectator bleachers and a new hospitality area on 9.
This is the 4th year it is being held in Jackson. Tickets are still available online. Now let's get a check on that forecast with Ken.
All right, we do have a cold front moving through Mississippi right now. So by tomorrow, after this passes through, it'll be breezy, even cooler than today, but still sunny because the front is coming through dry. We're actually going to see another system moving through over the weekend, and after that, it gets even colder. I'll let you know what this means for Halloween with the 8-day forecast coming up next. You're watching WJTV 12. Well, if you like nice and crisp, cool fall weather, I've got a really good forecast for you because today was beautiful out there. Sunny skies, mid-70s, but it will get even colder after a series of cold fronts moves through over the next few days. The first one is coming through tonight. It's running into dry air. We got all our rain this weekend from this storm system, so the air in Mississippi is already dry. This moves into it with no cloud cover, no rain, but behind the front tomorrow, our winds are going to pick up from the northwest at about 10-15 miles per hour, and temperatures will be trending downward as we go through at least the middle of this week. So no rain on Live IMAX 12. We don't anticipate seeing any chances of rain until at least late Friday night going into early Saturday. So between now and then, we're looking at just a temperature forecast, and those numbers already cool out there. It's 54 degrees in Jackson. Check out areas to the north and west of us. Over the northern plains, the Rockies, we're looking at 30s and 40s here. And by the end of the 8-day forecast, we could see 30s for the first time in the fall season. So yes, getting progressively cooler with time. At the 10 o'clock hour, it is 54 degrees. Dew points are back in the 40s. That has gone down, of course, since this weekend. Relative humidity is 77%, and winds right now very light across Mississippi. Temperatures tonight with the clear skies will be dropping back into the upper 40s to low 50s. Generally 40s if you live north of I-20. Right along the interstate, we're going to be at about 50 degrees at sunrise tomorrow, and temperatures about, let's say, 52 to 54 degrees in our southern tier of counties, including the Pine Belt. Now, tomorrow will be a sunny day from start to finish, just like today, but it will be cooler thanks to those stronger winds coming in from the northwest behind our front. So today we were at 74. Tomorrow, a lot of places may not even make it to 70, especially the farther north and east you live of the metro, down to our south and west, about 70 to 72 degrees. And that'll be true down in the Pine Belt, too. They're going to see a lot of sunshine, high temperatures generally between 69 69 and 71 degrees. So this is going to be our weather maker for tonight and tomorrow. This front moving quickly through, breezy conditions, winds coming in from the northwest around this area of high pressure. But as the high pressure gets closer to us, those winds calm down, but we stay cool. We're going to see a light northeast breeze as the center of the high pressure will be down to our southwest, right around Brownsville, Texas. So your forecast for tonight, cool, your low temperature about 50 degrees, northwesterly breeze, but check out those winds tomorrow. They start to pick up from the northwest, so it'll be breezy in addition to the sunshine. Still nice, 69 degrees is not bad in the afternoon. Now I think our coolest day will be Wednesday. We're looking at lows in the 40s, highs are going to be in the mid 60s. Another cool start on your Thursday morning. Then we start to warm up a little bit on Thursday and Friday. The next front comes in. This one will give us a chance of rain, just a brief shot, only about 30% early Saturday. But look at the temperatures after that next front comes through. Even colder for the first time this season. We're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. At this point, I don't think it's going to be cold enough for a frost or a freeze, but it's pretty far out. So we'll let you know more about that when we get closer to it. But yeah, we're getting into the time of the year where we're going to have to be concerned about a frost out there.
Yeah.
Bring a jacket, huh?
Exactly.
All right, thank you, Ken.
Okay.
And so to come, 3 murders in 10 days that put people on edge in Tampa. Hear why police are now saying anyone seen walking alone could be a suspect. We'll be right back. Authorities in Tampa, Florida are still hunting for a possible serial killer connected to 3 murders within 10 days.
The victims were all strangers to each other. As Laura Podesta reports, residents have come together tonight for a community meeting and an update on the manhunt.
Residents of the Seminole Heights area stood for a moment of silence following 3 murderers in a matter of days.
We're not leaving until we catch this guy.
Tampa police officers patrolled the streets throughout the day, talking to residents and looking for clues.
If you're out there walking alone, that you're either a suspect or a potential victim.
Anthony Naiboa's father believes the killer targeted his 20-year-old son because he was autistic.
My son was there, and the boss never came.
Police found Anthony's body on Thursday. He was shot after taking the wrong bus home from work. It happened just about 100 yards from where Benjamin Mitchell was killed October 9th. 2 days earlier, police found Monica Hoffa's body in a vacant lot less than a mile away. She was shot and killed while walking to meet a friend. Officials believe the killings are connected because of their close proximity and time frame, but they've been reluctant to link the murders to a serial killer.
Let's not let labels and stereotypes box our vision in and we miss what's right in front of us.
So far, all police have is the surveillance video of a man in the area on the night of the first murder. Police believe he may have information, but they are stopping short of calling him a suspect. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
And police are warning residents to not walk alone at night. The FBI has now joined the investigation.
The Environmental Protection Agency canceled talks by 3 of its scientists that were scheduled to speak at a Rhode Island conference on Monday. The scientists were expected to speak on the impact of climate change. According to the New York Times, an EPA official told the program director for the conference that the scientists would not be allowed to speak. Later, the EPA clarified in a statement that scientists would be present at the conference but not speak. The agency didn't respond when asked for the reasoning behind not allowing the scientists to speak. The speaking cancellations come alongside several changes at the EPA under the Trump administration. Now, let's get a preview of sports with Tyler.
Well, thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, how bad starts have really been meaningful for Mississippi State this season and what Matt Luke is looking for out of backup Jordan Ta'amu, who's now the starter. Plus, we talk to the new Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018. Stick with us. Road games require a heightened sense of awareness. When a raucous crowd is on top of you, like the 12th man at Kyle Field will be for MSU this weekend, it can lead to throwing things off quickly, and things have gone off the rails quickly in Mississippi State's road losses this season. Now, the Bulldogs played 2 top 25 teams in those games, and they jumped all over MSU early. At Georgia, UGA already got out to a 14-0 lead with almost 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And then the next week in Auburn, the Tigers had an 18-point lead, not even 2 minutes into the second quarter. Nick Fitzgerald says the team made too many mental mistakes in those losses, while Dan Mullen says MSU needs better focus following wins to prepare better.
The little attention to detail where, hey, being 2 feet off didn't cost us last week, but you see the video. This is why it could have cost us.
Road games, we've kind of gotten out of character, a lot of penalties, a lot of false starts, just not handling the environment very well. A lot's changed since those 2 games to now, so offensive line, the whole offense in general is kind of clicking, moving the ball pretty well.
MSU and A&M have only met 10 times. The Bulldogs have not won at College Station since 1913. Well, Ole Miss will be at home again this weekend for Arkansas, but the Rebels won't have Shea Patterson. Matt Luke says he thinks the sophomore's recovery process from his torn PCL in his knee will be 3 to 4 months. He also says he was pleased with how Patterson's replacement, Jordan Ta'amu, looked. Ta'amu went 7 for 11 with 78 yards with 20 rushing yards against LSU. Luke adds he's wanted to see the freshman's urgency grow and believes he saw some of that against LSU.
You don't want a guy back there holding the ball and patting the ball, and that was one of the things I saw in the game he wasn't doing. I was really pleased with that because, the game does speed up, when you get in this league and you got to make fast decisions, and I thought he did a nice job of that in the game. But I think everybody else around him has to step up, O-line, receivers, running backs. We got to do a great job, again, keeping the game plan simple.
Well, 2 key guys to help Ta'amu are banged up. Luke says running back Jordan Wilkins is questionable with an ankle injury, and also center Sean Rawlings is currently in concussion protocol. We all have mentors and teachers in life that make profound impacts. They come in many different forms. Obviously, for athletes, they can often be coaches, and 5 of this year's 6 Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame class members are former coaches. Lafayette, Stribling's Mississippi Valley teams made 3 NCAA tournaments. Billy Brewer was a 4-time SEC Coach of the Year at Ole Miss. Mike Jones reached the Division III Sweet 16 3 times while coaching Mississippi college basketball. Anna Jackson won 9 5A state titles with Murrah girls basketball. Joe Walker Jr. taught track stars like Olympian Brittany Reese. And boxer Archie Moore is a posthumous inductee. He's the longest reigning light heavyweight champion ever. Here are some immediate reactions on this honor.
I had been wondering why I had not been selected, but then you just kind of put it in the back of your mind and know that it's going to come at some point in time.
I thought I had the stats and everything, but I didn't know whether it's going to happen or not, and I'm just appreciative.
He would say, it was worth it. My life has been a fight. All the way through, it's been a fight. He said, I finally made it.
Well, these folks will be inducted on July 28th. And if there is a dress Hall of Fame, like a swag Hall of Fame, man, Lafayette Stripling.
You were so late
sharp.
to the game. Let me tell you, we know Lafayette Stripling.
Today, and I just told him, I was like, I respect you, man.
He
I asked him about it too.
Any day.
I know. I loved what he said. He's like, so many coaches come out in their coaching clothes. When I step out in front of 10,000 fans,
no.
they better recognize. I was like, you, sir, have got this down. You've
His
got
whole
life.
Clothing deserves a museum.
I know. I love it. I want to see his closet, honestly.
All right, kid. What's in your closet? There we go.
See those suits on the sidelines.
Oh, I know it.
All right, let's take a look at our bus stop forecast. Clear and cool in the morning, about 50 degrees for kids out at the bus stop. It's going to be a nice sunny day tomorrow, but they may need a windbreaker because it's also going to be kind of breezy and turning colder as the week goes along. Even going into Halloween, we're looking at some much cooler weather. You'll see that 8-day forecast is coming up next. All right, here's a look at our forecast over the next couple of days. A lot of sunshine and turning cooler. Highs only in the 60s, lows in the low 40s. We get a little bit of rain early Saturday, then it gets even colder. Lows in the 30s Sunday and Monday.
All right, thank you, and thank you for joining us tonight.
See you back tomorrow, everybody. Make it a good night.